Being fat and unattractive sucks. But what if I told you that you could change that? Now, back in 2023, I was skinny fat, which is just, your arms are skinny, you have no muscle, and you're fat, you're puffy. And I was quite round. My face was very round. Do I have my wallet? No. I would show you a picture. But it was pretty bad. I was unattractive and I couldn't run. I couldn't literally go on a run. I was so unathletic. I could not go for a run. I was depressed, and when I started exercising, I started losing fat, became fitter, more attractive, more athletic, and more happy. So just exercise. The basic advice I could give you is to exercise. I don't like the traditional just run, bro. Like that's a bit fucking useless. But also doing a bit more than just going for a run. Going for a run is like the Hollywood sense of losing weight. Just going for a run is not going to work. You need to do other things like change your diet, how you do a run, how you push yourself, and figure out all these little things and track your progress as well. So do the shadow test. Now, what's the shadow test? Well, you go outside in the sun. I know you don't like the sun. You like your video games, your porn, but go out in the sun and look at your shadow. If your shadow looks genuinely fat and puffy, then you should cut. But if it looks normal, doesn't really look fat, looks quite normal, then just bulk. You're just being a bit self-conscious. Maybe you are a little bit fat and puffy, but that's something that you'll just grow out of. Now, if you are fat, you can burn that if you are genuinely fat. But if you're just being a bit insecure, there's no point in doing it. I actually learned that from Hamza. So don't cut if you're not fat. If you're not fat, don't cut because in 24, the spring of 2024, so a year ago, very self-conscious, and I ruined my gains by cutting. I got skinny, I got very lanky, I lost lots of muscle and lots of kind of my build, and that set me back months, maybe even a year, I'd say, just from that small period of a cut because I lost muscle, I lost fat, and I just kind of lost size for no reason. I probably lost height because of that. I didn't need to cut. Although I looked pretty athletic, there was no need for it. So eat clean. Eat clean foods. That is the key thing to do if you really want to get rid of that puffiness and that fat. Eat clean. Use or eat less calorie dense foods. So fruits and vegetables and just not processed foods or less processed foods, less saturated fat and sugars. If you cut if you cut processed foods out and processed fats and sugars, you're going to lose that weight anyway. So go in a calorie deficit by around 3 to 500 calories if you're going to do a cut from your maintenance calories. So you can calculate your maintenance calories on the internet on Google. Search up calorie calculator, find your maintenance, maybe maintenance calorie calculator or whatever. And then once you found it, subtract about 3 to 500 calories, depending if you're quite fat, then go for the 500. If you're not really, then maybe even 200. 3 to 200 would be optimal. 400 to 500 if you're just quite fat. So go on a calorie deficit and join a sport. If you're a teenager, you should do a sport. Most guys don't, well, the guys I knew didn't do any sport. Everyone I know now does a sport, and that's why they're not fat bastards. And the ones that don't do sport are fat bastards. That's not a coincidence. That's just how it works. So join a sport like football, rugby, hockey, tennis, badminton, even swimming. Join a sport, boxing, fucking boxing. I forgot all about boxing. Do boxing. That loses a lot of weight. And train for a fight, and you're gonna be fucking lean. But by doing a sport where you have to train, you have to be athletic, that'll push you to be athletic, to lose that fat, lose that weight. Or if you don't want to do a sport, which I would recommend because it's the easiest thing to do, also and or do extra cardio. So 2 to 3 times a week. So you could do sprints, you could do long distance, so like 3 to 5K, 10K, 20K, whatever is your cup of tea. Or you could do sprints and kind of calisthenics. That's my favorite thing to do. But, whatever suits you. And that's all you need to do, really. As a teenager, all you need to do to lose fat and lose weight is that. But make sure that you genuinely need to lose that weight and don't just be self conscious and insecure. Because if you don't actually need to lose the weight, then don't lose the weight. It's stupid. So think about that. Have a good day. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Check out the courses. I'm not really going to go in depth. There's a few bonuses, and the price is increasing by each sale. Have a good day.